Good morning. My name is Mary Respis. I'm making this video for Nursing 114, and we are doing it on GERD today, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease. And today I'm meeting with Sherilyn Wally. She is a 52-year-old female who has recently been diagnosed with GERD. And just a little background, she has a PhD in history, currently works as a UX UI designer. So I expect that we'll have very good health literacy today. She loves to teach, so that's the primary way that we're going to evaluate her learning. And we'll talk through GERD and what it is and ways to manage it. So Sherilyn Wally, come on in.
You didn't hear that caffeine can hit the floor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I understand you've been diagnosed with GERD. How long ago was that?
12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today we're just going to review and see how we're doing on your knowledge and ways that you're managing. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So first of all, can you tell me what GERD is?
Gastroesophageal reflux disease.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean?
It's the scientific medical name for heartburn, or at least one of the things that people call heartburn. But basically, stomach acid is coming up instead of just staying in my stomach.
Okay, good. So your stomach and your esophagus, there's a little sphincter there, and it usually when you swallow, it opens up and lets food go down. But if it's loose or if it's completely open, you're going to get reflux. It's going to come back up into your esophagus. So let's go for signs and symptoms. By the time we finish today, I'd like you to be able to tell me what 4 signs and symptoms are of GERD. Which ones do you know?
The metallic taste in my mouth. That's one where I'm like, uh-oh. Actual regurgitation. That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a pain here. Other times I've thought that I was allergic to like fresh garlic because it would make me very nauseated and need to throw up.
Mm.
But it turns out that was like a GERD response. Yeah, those are the big ones that I know. I mean, burping, that's one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gaseous, bubble right here sometimes. So many things.
General uncomfortableness.
Oh yes, discomfort.
Yeah. Okay, so you went over most of them that I had mentioned. So another one, sometimes you get like a lump feeling in your throat or difficulty swallowing. Have you ever experienced that before?
No.
Not everyone does.
I mean, that one that everyone does sometimes when you have a piece of bread and it didn't go all the way down. But not usually without that.
Okay. All right. So back 12 years ago, how were you diagnosed?
I had just had a major back surgery and I had been on pain meds for 6 months. And after that surgery, they had me on olestron because odinestrone for nausea and stuff, and then it just kept getting worse. I ended up going to the ER thinking I was having a major asthma attack. I wasn't. It was a GERD episode. And I think that all those pain meds just had trashed my stomach. And so ended up going to a couple doctors and finally to a gastroenterologist, actually an ENT. But he also handled these and referred me. And we did the swallow study, we did the imaging, found out that my sphincter was basically okay, but once he put me on the meds to calm it all down, it sure worked. So that was and he did scope me, and he's like, oh yeah, you've got some stuff.
Okay, so you had the upper endoscopy
Yeah.
to see what was going on, and then you said the barium swallow test as well? Okay, good. They didn't do, there's another one called the Bernstein test. Have you heard of that one? Maybe they didn't do that one with
I don't
you.
know.
Basically, they inject liquid and try to reproduce the symptoms so they can study in real time what's going on.
No.
Okay.
Probably if I had pursued it, but all the doctors are like, take the meds, it's fine.
Okay, so medically managed. And then your doctor I know you started off with one thing and kind of switched over. What are you taking now for your GERD?
Esomeprazole, so
Okay.
generic. I had been taking the over the counter because between insurances and dropping off the specialist, I just kept going with the esomeprazole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nexium, OTC.
Right.
And then, so those come in like the 20 milligram. And I would try, it says don't do it more than 14 days. The doctor said ignore that because I have it and I had figured out I had had it since I was 18. So keep it controlled. The most recently last year, I told the nurse practitioner, she was like, you know what? And she prescribed me at 40 milligrams. And it's been much better controlled since then.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So over time, you've increased your dosage to help manage the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Did your healthcare provider also go over anything non-pharmaceutical that could help with symptoms?
No, actually, they never did.
They never did. Interesting. Well, let's talk about a few of those. Maybe you're already doing some of these, but we'll go over a few right now. So by the end of our time together today, I want you to be able to teach back 3 of these, all right? Okay. So one thing that you can do is you can keep a intake diary, basically. So you write down daily what you're eating and drinking and noticing if things are triggering to you.
I do that informally, but I don't write it down formally.
Okay, so you mentioned like fresh garlic does you in. So that's one thing. So maybe
Yes.
we don't want to do that.
Tomato sauce. I have figured out, it took a long time to figure out why I wasn't as enthusiastic about spaghetti as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally figured out, and I'm like, oh, tomatoes, which are a very common trigger.
Right, because of the acid.
Because of the acid.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, the tomato sauce has always been upsetting my stomach that I didn't realize it. So the same thing with regular pizza. Everyone loves pizza, and I love pizza too, but if it makes you sick afterwards, you subconsciously love it less.
Yeah, it doesn't love you back so
doesn't love
much.
me. So I've learned some of those triggers.